Hello, this is Muhammad Usman and welcome to Usman Programming Tutorial. This is the sixth tutorial of Web Application Development series. In this tutorial, we will learn about the types of the view like shared view and the partial view and how we can call a partial view in our view. And one more thing we can learn in this tutorial is about how we can design the view, basic parts of the view, how view is shown on our screen, and how we can design the components, how we can place the component on the view. So by creating the project, new project in MVC, here I am creating a MVC project. In previous tutorial we used to create the empty project. Now in this tutorial we will create a MVC project here. Now here is my project, MVC project WAD Lab 6. Here are my controllers. There are three controllers by default created in this project: account controller, home controller, and manage controller. We will see just a home controller in this tutorial and the views of this controller that is associated with the home controller, like here, that is about, contact, and index. Here is a share folder, and these layouts are shared in our project. This is the shared layout view of my project, which is associated with all the other views in my application. And this is a render body function. This render body function, what actually this layout view did in our program. First of all, when we call the any view, then first of all this view before this render body function, this will call, it will show the content on our page, web page. Then this render body function is called. What this render body function did is actually call that particular view which you want to show on your web page. Okay, and this is the html.partial. This is actually, this login partial is actually the partial view which you want to use as a shared view as well in your shared layout. This login partial is a partial view, and you want to use this partial view as your shared view, as part of your shared view. So that's why I have called it here html.partial. This is actually the method to call the partial view in your view, and this is render body is actually the method to call your actual view which you want to use in your web page, or you want to see in your web page when you call the specific action result, and that is showing the specific view accordingly. So if I run this program, then what it will show me, yes, here is my index page. This navigation bar is actually defined in my shared layout. Okay, and the part of this this actually the ASP.NET is a free web framework. This and these three columns are actually part of my index view. How my screen is divided? My screen is actually divided into 12 columns. 4 columns are represented by this content, then 4 columns are represented by this content, then 4 columns are represented by this content. Total sum up to 12 columns. And this ASP.NET, this is actually a total sum of the 12 columns which are represented by this content. If you want to divide more, if you want to add more content, then you have to specify the column or rows in your views. Let's suppose if I want to add one more column here, then I have to reduce the size or space of these contents as well. Let's suppose here it taking the 4 columns, then I want to assign 3 columns here, then I will get a space here as well at this space. So if I change this view to 4 columns to 3 columns, this is actually the div class call made for actually defining the space of that content. If I assign here 3 columns, then it means that I am assigning the 3 columns for that particular content. Similarly, I am assigning here 3 as well, and here 3 as well. Now if I run this program again, then I will get a free space at the end of that row. Now you can see that here I have get a free space here after this column. If I want to add the content here, then I may add the content accordingly what I want to use. So if I want to add the content here, then I simply have to add one more div here. Like I just copy paste here, div column 3 again. I just had it, this is my new content. If I reload the project again, then it shows some content here as well. This is my new content here. Now you can see that here we have total of 12 columns, and whatever we need we can divide it accordingly, according to our content. If I want to add one more row, let's suppose here I have end of my page, but I want to add more content, then I have to add one more row as well, that is started just after this content. Then I have to assign one more row, then I have to define one more columns as well according to our content. Let's suppose I'm going to design this is our row, this is. If I want to add one more row is added, then I have divided that row into three pairs of three columns. So if I run it again, then I will get more content into my view. Here it is, I have get one more row, and the content that I have added accordingly it is showing here. Now if I want to call specific view, a partial view, into a specific place, now I'm going to create a partial view that I want to call it here, that shows the result on this place. So if I want to add the partial view, I just have to add one more view. Okay, partial view is a simple view, but you use it as a partial view. Okay, I just want to give it a name, test partial. Use layout, simply empty. Okay, I just have added one more paragraph here to test the working of my partial view. Okay, this is my partial view. Now I want to call this partial view at this place, what is this page? What this page is actually is a index page. So go to my index view, and this is the last column of my second row. Here it is, this is the last column of my second row. Here I have to call my partial view. I simply, what I have to do, @html dot partial, and what is the name of the view? Name of the view is test partial. Okay, now here it's showing the content of my partial view, which is defined it here. This is my partial view, and I have called it here in my fourth column, which is defined in the second row, here and here. And this call, my test partial view, is actually calling my view which I'm using as a partial view and showing it here in this place. Now if you want to use any other things in your these columns, let's suppose I want to use the images instead of this content, like you may have seen in a lot of other websites like the Raz and other sites. You may add the images here as well, and then use the button. Whatever you want to do, you can do it here accordingly. So I'm just going to add the images instead of this content. So how we can do that, let's see. First of all, I have to create the folder for placing the images into my project, which is a good approach to create a folder for everything. Here is my folder. Now I'm going to paste some images into this folder. These are my images. Now if you want to add the images instead of that content, then you simply have to add the this source line, img equals to src equals to where your images are placed. You have to give the path of that images and what you want to label that image at. Let's suppose you want new image or shopping, whatever you want to. This is simply, we can add the images. If you want to decide the properties of that image, like you want to set the width and height of that particular image, then you have to define the inline style as well. You may change it accordingly. If you want find it good, then you may change it. It's up to you. And the width equals to 280 px. Now if I run this program again, it will show me the changes according to the code. So this is my view now. I have added the images according to the places which I have divided in the columns in 2 rows. Similarly, you can perform any exercise. You can define the buttons here, you can define the check boxes here, and anything you want to define you may perform it here. So in this tutorial you may so what you have learned in this tutorial, basic idea how a shade view is worked. What you have learned in this tutorial, how shade views work, how we can call the partial view, and how we can design the view, how we can divide the parts of the view according to our content. This is it from this tutorial. In the coming tutorial we are start working with the data source like SQL server. So keep watching these videos. Thank you.